Welcome to Secrets of a Seven-Figure Coach, the podcast for coaches, consultants, and creative entrepreneurs who want to hit between $100K and $1 million in annual revenue. I'm Beck Keane, your host and business mentor. On this podcast, I'm sharing the mindset, strategy, and energetics required to create a multi-six-figure business and beyond. Before becoming a coach, I grew 3 successful businesses. I'm an award-winning business owner who built and exited $1 million consulting firm and an industry-leading app that won awards back in 2016. And that all happened before I started my own coaching business, which has since generated over $2 million in lifetime revenue in part-time hours. I'm taking you behind the scenes from my very first 10K month to my very first 100K month. I'll also bring in coaches and consultants who have scaled their own coaching businesses so you can learn real-world tools and strategies from others who have walked the path. If you are a coach, consultant, or creative entrepreneur looking to 2 to 4x your revenue while also having an incredibly rich personal life, this podcast is for you. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be diving into a conversation that I've been having with a lot of my clients. I've been teaching this inside my programs, and this is the conversation about how to attract premium buyers. If you're listening to this episode, you're probably a coach, a healer, or mentor, maybe a service provider or a consultant. And there's a lot of information out there online about the economy and what the economy is and isn't doing. And I've been seeing so much stuff on social media about this that I really wanted to come on and clear the air. And the air to clear is this. It's not that people aren't buying right now. And I have done a ton of research on this, and you can check in the show notes if you really want to go see my sources. But the research is clear and the research is in, and it is that premium buyers in an economy such as this, some people are calling this a trust recession or a trust economy. In an economy such as this, it's not that premium buyers aren't buying, it's that they've shifted the way they buy. And so if you are not speaking to premium buyers as a coach, you're going to get left behind. You would already be left behind. If you haven't made this shift in your business already, then you are going to get left behind. And my mission in this world is to help more coaches, healers, mentors take up space, charge unapologetically, sell their incredible work with the very clients that need this work. I don't want you to get left behind. And so this conversation is needed. And I wanted to bring it out into this space, into my podcast, so it could be shared. And the first thing I would say is like, hey, if you listen to this episode and you're like, oh my gosh, that just blew my mind, share this with another coach, share this with someone who needs to hear this message, because this is really important information. So before we dive into what I want to share with you today, let's just do a little quick overview of what I'm going to share. So inside this episode, I'm going to break down why and how premium buyers buy differently in this economy. And this is important for you because you need to know if you're going to sell to them, you need to know what the shift in behavior is and really how to speak to them. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point out and give you some direction on the key shifts that you need to make in your messaging, in your energy, in your mindset in order to attract a premium buyer. And then I'm also going to talk about how myself and my clients are confidently selling high ticket offers from 1K to 75K using desire-led messaging, which I'm going to touch upon, and an invitation sales strategy, which is really how we want to be speaking to a premium buyer. This is a conversation that I haven't been hearing other people talk about. And so let's open the door and let's dive straight in. To kick off this conversation, I want to hit you up with some stats. Okay, now these stats blew my mind. Let's start with the coaching industry. So the coaching industry alone, according to ICF, is a $5 billion industry. $5 billion, let that sink in. $5 billion, and it is projected to grow up to 8 billion in the next 3 years. This is not an industry that is shrinking. It is an industry that is growing. And if you are a really good coach, which if you're listening to this episode, you probably are, because that's the type of people that I attract into my world is exceptional coaches and healers. Even if they haven't completely embodied that, deep down, you know your work is good, then you get to have a piece of this pie. Like this is available for you. So why would you not? Why would you not step into this? Why would you not take a piece of this pie, right? Like this, you get to be part of this growing industry. And to me, that's incredibly exciting. So that's the coaching industry alone. That doesn't even talk about the global wellness industry, which is forecast to hit $6.3 trillion. I can't even conceptualize trillion, but it is it is a lot of money. So people are still investing. People are still wanting this work. This is something that is not going to slow down anytime soon. Another stat I came across was that 54% of consumers are still trading up to premium. So this means that people are not buying the base model, they're not buying the like basic thing, or if they are, they're willing to upgrade, they're willing to go to that premium. And this is really great news because one of the things that we see in buying behavior of premium clients is they often buy something at a smaller price point and then they will upgrade to something bigger. So what I have seen hands down across my business is people come in, they buy an offer, and then they upgrade to an even bigger offer. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't just step into the bigger price point offers, because that is often the case. People can go directly from, reading a piece of content on your social media or listening to a podcast or watching a masterclass as an example, and immediately buying your high ticket. That can absolutely happen. But in general, we do see that people like to get a taste of what it is that you're about, the type of work that you're doing, whether that is a taste being really incredible social content, or maybe you teaching, somewhere that they can experience or witness, or there's a downloadable masterclass on your website, but then they want the next thing. So it's not that they're not buying, it's that they're buying from people that they resonate with, that they trust. And it also means that they have money to allocate to this work. Another ICF stat was that many of the people who invested in coaching, and this is so important, like get your pens out, you want to write this one down. Many of the people who are investing in coaching are investing for growth. Now, that may seem obvious, but wait till you hear the end of this statement. They're investing for growth, not remediation. That means they want to move forward. They're investing in potential and possibility, not there's something wrong with me, I'm broken, I need to be fixed. Does this mean that they don't have air quotes problems? No, of course. We all have problems. We all have stuck points. We all have things that we're struggling with. But premium buyers in particular are highly identified with where they want to go, not where they have been. And this is the shift. If you take one thing from this conversation, and we're going to break this down a little bit further, if you take anything from this conversation, that is the shift, is that you need to be thinking about speaking to people who don't need to be convinced. They've convinced themselves. They know they want it. They're not trying to decide if they should hire a coach. They're trying to decide which coach they want to hire, which coach they resonate with, which coach they can see themselves being led by. Same goes for healers, for mentors, for consultants, right? It's not deciding if I'm going to work with a healer. It's which healer's energy do I like the most? Which one is putting out really magnetic content? Which one seems super embodied with her work? Who can I see myself spending time with? That is what a premium buyer is looking for. It is a very magnetic attraction, forward, future focused momentum energy versus I'm stuck, I'm lacking, I'm in scarcity, I'm broken, please help me, please fix me, I need you to hold my hand. No, that's not them. Now, before we continue, I also want to clear up what premium buyer means in my world. A lot of people think, oh, premium buyer, high ticket. No, I don't know anybody who's rich. I don't know anyone who's wealthy. I don't know anyone who's, willing to spend all that money. Premium buyers doesn't necessarily equate with wealthy or excess or has a certain level of financial capacity. It means they're the ones who are willing to invest. And you could even look at yourself as an example, right? Like there are probably things you are a premium buyer for that you, even if your finances are more constrained than they've been in the past, there are very likely still things that you are willing to spend money on. This is how I define a premium buyer. And another stat I came across is that I can't remember the percentage of the households it is. It was like 70 to 80% of households in this economy, in this range, have allocated resources or are willing to allocate resources for growth, for wellness, for transformation. So, this is all really great news for our industry. People are still investing, people still want to grow, and people still want to move forward. So it's BS if you hear other people saying that there's a problem with the economy in terms of this conversation. Okay. I'm not going to talk about, like, I'm not an economist. I can't speak to all of that, but I do know what's happening in our industry and people are still purchasing. So the problem isn't the economy in that sense. It's how you're positioning your work within the economy. And if you're trying to message, and if your messaging sounds like it's trying to convince someone to spend money, or if your messaging is trying to position you as affordable, air quotes, or if your messaging is really heavy in pain point marketing and you say things like you're stuck, you're in self-doubt, you don't trust yourself, you fear change, you're burnt out. If everything is about what's wrong with your person, and that's the marketing that you're using, you're speaking to the wrong buyer. Okay. Premium buyers are shopping from coaches who feel certain, who don't water down their magic, who don't sound like everybody else, who are embodied in the transformation that they teach. They are moving. The people are buying from are moving. They're not being stagnant. They're not staying still. They themselves are investing. Think about when you make an investment and who you want to lead you. You want to see that they're in motion, right? You want to see that they're high level and they're investing in themselves and they're doing cool things and, they're expanding, they're growing. So that's how you need to position yourself in order to attract the right person. The other piece of this is the language that you use. And I've already touched upon it a few times. Language and messaging is so important because premium buyers are not identified with their stuckness. I really want you to hear me on this. They're identified on their potential. They know we talk about problem awareness content in the marketing world, the messaging world, and I am a big fan of problem awareness content, which shares with people exactly what their real problem is versus their perceived problem, which is really a conversation for another time. But premium buyers are aware. We know, what your problem is. The premium buyer knows what their problem is. They don't need you to shove it in their face. So traditional marketing would tell us, pain, show the pain, talk about the pain points, and then agitate the pain, like really use the pain to make them feel the pain. No, like we already know, premium buyers already know. We're clear on that. We want to know, can you take me from here, from where I am to where I want to go? Will your offer shift me, change me, evolve me? Are you the one to lead me from where I am to where I want to go? So, you, dear listener, dear coach who's listening to this, is your offer painted as a solution to the shift and the transformation that they want to make? With premium buyers, what I teach my clients is something that I'm calling desire-led messaging, or the desire-led method. And I'm going to dive into that in a little bit. But one of the key components of this is the speaking to potential and the speaking to possibility and painting that picture. So something you can think about is when your client steps into a container with you, who do they become? Who does your container allow them to become? What is the shift in identity? And I know I'm jumping all over the place, but hey, this is just how apparently my brain is rolling today. But there's another piece, is identity. Are you speaking to the identity of your premium buyer and the shift? Because there's something that buyer wants to step into, and your offer, your work, that gets to be the map. So it's less about the logistics of the program, of the offer. It's less about the features, how many calls, how many modules, how much Voxer support they get, whatever's in your packages. It's less about those features and the logistics. And it's more about, will this offer create the shift and the change that I see myself capable of? Your premium buyers know, they know they're capable of more. That's why I'm saying you tap into the potential, you tap into who and what they want to become, and then you paint your offer as the solution. A mistake I see a lot of coaches make, and I've been reviewing different clients' copy over the last few days because I do these deep dive immersions as part of my work where we get really into your messaging and your magic and your brilliance. And I love helping people articulate what it is specifically that they do, because when you can position yourself as unique, as like this category of one coach, then the question isn't, am I going to spend money? It's like, how quickly can I get out my credit card? So my hands have been getting dirty with my clients in terms of their messaging and their content. And I keep seeing people explaining their offers, as in explaining the methods and the frameworks and the different tools that they use. And guys, this is important. Like, your method and your framework is important. But when someone is looking to make a purchasing decision and a buying decision, what they really want to know is like, can this person lead me? Can this person walk with me? Is this person going to help me execute the change I know I'm capable of? I need some of that loving support. And so, not to say erase your method from your sales page and your content, but what we really want to articulate is where we're leading them and where they're going and what they're capable of. That's actually the first step in desire-led messaging, is to always acknowledge your client's brilliance and their power. And since we're going there, let's just dive right into the 6 steps of the desire-led method, okay? So the first step is to acknowledge their brilliance. Now, what this would sound like for me is I say things like, you're already an exceptional coach. You're already an amazing healer. I'm speaking to your potential. I'm speaking to your power. I am always seeing my clients like solid and rooted feet on the ground and like light channeling through their bodies, in that they're powerful. Like, you're powerful. I don't see you in lack and scarcity. I don't. Yes, of course, you might have some self-doubt and you might worry and you might have blocks and beliefs and all of that. But what I see is your potential. And so your messaging, desire-led messaging, which paints a picture, which showcases what's possible to our clients, is rooted in acknowledging their brilliance. 2, a deep understanding of what your client really wants. So if you go online and you start reading through your own copy and other people's copy, you will see they're just speaking to pain points. You're stuck. You're afraid of change. You're sitting at home. You're not taking action. All pain points. It's saying all the things that the client's not doing. What's all the things that are like air quotes wrong with the client. What we want is to talk about the deeper desire. So this is what, on the other side of that air quote pain point, What do they really want? What would they rather? Where would they like to be? Where do they see themselves? We want to speak to that future identity that these people are craving. Number 3 is painting the possibility. So we always want to be painting the picture of who they become. Remember earlier in this episode, I said something like, who do they become on the other side of working with you? That possibility, that shift needs to be woven in everything that you do. That is who you are eliciting and calling forward and activating within this person. Step 4 follows right along that. The embodied shift. What is the inner change that is going to unlock the external result for this person? So when we speak to results and we speak to outcomes and transformation and their desire, there's something that's going to shift or click and unlock within that person. What is that in the work that you do? You all have something that you're really good at, and this might take going back and looking through client transcripts or getting feedback and testimonials, but there's very likely something within you, this superpower that you uniquely have. And when you turn that on, and when I say when you turn that on, I mean like that might just be your presence alone or in the questions you ask or the way you hold space, something changes in the other person. When we can name that shift, then we know exactly who we're speaking to. And when that person sees that shift within our work and our words, they light up and they're like, oh my God, that's what I want. If only that would click for me, I know everything would unlock and change. Okay, step number 5 is speaking their words, their pain point words, simply to show awareness. So you've heard me on this whole podcast kind of talk down to pain points. I also don't want to do that because pain points have a place in marketing, in my opinion, in that when we articulate the pain points of our ideal clients, they feel seen, they feel heard, and it shows that we understand them intimately. What I like to do and what I teach inside my programs with this desire-led method is we use desire first, and then the pain point is sort of like the brackets. It's the so you no longer have to be in that space versus heavy pain points, agitating the pain points. Go read, messaging and marketing that's heavy pain point based, and it will make you feel heavy and it will make you not want to keep reading. Whereas if you read something more desire led, you're going to feel lit up and you're going to be like, oh my God, yes, I want that. Tell me more. Where do I buy? And then the pain points are just lightly woven in so that they understand we get where they are. So pain point shows that we get it, but desire led messaging shows them that we can help them get out of it. And that is something that the majority of coaches, when they first start working with me, it's like they don't have awareness that using the desire messaging method, using desire language, activating language, expansive possibility, potential language, that's what makes someone whip out their credit card and be like, oh my God, I have to have this. You are the one. I want to do this work with you. That and making sure that you have articulated in your positioning, your what I'll call category of one. Your category of one is what makes you special, what makes you unique. It's like, what is your superpower? Okay, so that was step number 5. Step number 6 is we've talked about this already, but positioning your offer as the vehicle. And so your offer becomes the bridge. And I'll have to do a whole nother episode simply on sales because to me, sales is the most fun thing in the world. But in order to have a really strong, powerful, but also like sensual, easeful sales energy, all we need to know is where are they at, where do they want to go? And then our offer gets to become that bridge. It might sound obvious, but this is like the missing art of sales in all the years I've been involved in this industry. And when you make this shift, everything clicks, and your no's or your I have to think about it on your sales call will shift into like 99% yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information in 6 steps. I wasn't even planning on sharing with you the whole desire led method, but I think it's really important for you to see, okay, hey, this is maybe why I'm not attracting premium buyers. Premium buyers are everywhere. And there are some shifts and tweaks that you need to make in the way you're showing up, in the way you're writing content, in the way you're messaging your offers, in your own embodiment and identity, in the way you speak and sell. But when you do that, the people who start to come into your world, it's like Christmas morning over and over and over. It's like, what? I get to work with these people, like the most amazing people. When I stopped speaking, well, I don't want to say down because I don't feel like I ever really spoke down to people. But when I made this shift and I started using more desire led activation language and content and really making my messaging, I don't even like to use the word necessarily empowering, but more positive, more like let's go energy. I stopped attracting the people who were wanted to stay in their stuckness, who wanted to use their excuses to validate why they haven't moved. So, an example of this might be like if you say things like, you're stuck, well, guess what? You're going to attract people who are stuck and who have a reason for being stuck. But if you said something like, you know, you're meant for more and you're tired and you're done being stuck, you know, so much more is possible, and you're no longer willing to let self sabotage run the show, you're going to attract people who know more is possible and who don't want self sabotage to run the show. Whereas if you say you keep self sabotaging and you repeat that over and over in your messaging with all these negative things, you're exhausted from striving. You're terrified to slow down. You second guess yourself. You're scared people will judge you. You're going to attract people who want to stay in that place. But if you say the thing they want, you want to step into your next level, you want whatever that thing is, whatever that desire is, and you kind of weave and you're done with this, this, and this, then you're going to attract the people who are actually ready to make a shift. It is such a minute change in the way we speak, in the way we sell, in the way we message our work. But when I made that shift, huge. People came into my world who were like completely in that forward momentum energy. And that's exactly who I want to work with. And if you'd like to attract premium clients who don't need convincing, who read your Instagram posts and feel lit up and activated, and they immediately jump into your programs or they immediately start DMing you, and you want to have a coaching or a healing business full of these premium buyers, come into Unapologetic Sales. This is the program where I'm teaching this, where you're going to learn how to message, market, and sell to premium buyers with this desire-led energy that works in any economy, especially this economy. I'm going to leave the link for that program in the show notes below. I'll also leave my references in the show notes below in case you want to learn some more of this. And if you love this episode, come into my DMs, let me know, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple. They really do help. And share this with another coach who needs to hear this message. I can't wait to hear from you. And thanks so much for listening.